What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Review for Kaiju number 8. This is episode 7, and with me, as always, I have Bluespid.
Yeah. So it was another good episode. This time, of course, uh, of course,
I
we get to see like the
I was
new
I was
that
actually going to
humanoid.
ask, what do you think about like these recap segments that they seem to have before, like at the beginning of every episode, and now it seems like
I,
they have like a almost like a minute recap of the stuff that happened in the last episode.
I don't.
Uh,
I mean, I don't know. Those recap segments are a little bit hit or miss. Most of the time, I
I
just
I
skip
just I
them.
just find them unnecessary, to be honest. Like I'm wondering why they're even there. Um,
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's just because like whoever's directing the show maybe thinks it's a good idea to put in like these brief
it
recaps for people who
It
missed
it
out on
just
certain things.
reminds me of, like, some of the stuff they did in some of the older, shonens from the early to mid 2000s, like, they did this a lot, especially later on in Bleach, where they have, like, almost, like I would say almost, like, 3-minute long recap segments, of,
Yeah.
like, what happened in the previous well, not even the previous episode, but, like, the episodes before that episode,
I mean,
and it's just there to
as
take up time.
yeah, I
um
mean, as long as it's not going as longer than a minute, then it's fine. But it's if it's taking up like almost like like a good 10% of the episode, then I find an issue with it. But most of the
yeah.
time, like I just skip that. I skip the opening intro and then I just move on to the episode afterwards.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
um
but the episode, of course, starts off with what happened after the events of the last episode, where Renu and Iharu come across the humanoid kaiju, which he doesn't have like an actual name. I think people online, uh, or people who've read the manga, call this thing Kaiju number 9. Um,
mhm.
but of course, like we see like how Reno tries to avoid like number nine's abilities. I guess like nine uses like his fingers as a gun, but Reno is with the help of like Shinomiya, with her experience of encountering this kaiju, is able to time his dodges correctly by looking at his finger.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I mean, this episode also focuses somewhat on the red-haired guy. I keep forgetting what his
You know,
name
it's
is.
what was it, Iharu?
Haru. Yeah, like they kind of go a little bit into his motivations for joining the Kaiju Defense Force, and of course, it has to do with him being inspired by
It was Ashiro. Yeah, it was.
yeah, and
Yeah, so
apparently, I guess like she had protected him or something from one of the Kaiju's, and I guess that motivated him to want to join.
yeah. So, but I seriously thought that Iharu was gonna die after literally just getting, shot in the abdomen with a big hole in his chest. But
Well, I mean,
um, what
I mean,
still
Reno
doesn't.
gets pretty messed up too. I mean, he probably did. I mean, he gets pretty badly injured.
Yeah, I mean, like, so Reno, of course, tries to contact the rest of of the defense force, but of course, this kaiju uses like this special space which blocks out any sort of communication. So now Reno and Iharu are forced to fight this thing, and they do
Mhm.
well at first, but it gets to the point where they become completely overwhelmed by his abilities. That, like you said, Reno gets shot multiple times, all over his body, and I'm surprised that, like, he somewhat survives this. Of course, they said the reason why they're they can somewhat survive it is because of their kaiju infused suits that can help heal their wounds or something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. Um, but of course, everybody now knows like that. Or I guess like the other team members are worried about them because they kind of like know that they're or no, that's right. So of course Kafka shows up to try to save Renault in his kaiju form, and he of course he ends up revealing it, of course, to more people. So now more people know, or at least know that
I don't
not that
I
he's a
don't think
kaiju, but that
I don't think they technically know that that's Kafka
well,
in
no,
his
but
kaiju
they
form.
know about, like, they. they of course see him as an enemy. They don't know he's, even though he fights against this other kaiju, that they don't
Yeah.
think he's a good kaiju or anything. So
Hmm.
uh yeah, so now they see him show up again, and yeah, so and of course now that when he shows up, the other team members are get reports of kaiju number 8 being spotted. um so of course he shows up and he ends up fighting this kaiju. um and at first, like, he struggles, or well, he kind of gets the upper hand at first. But then, like, the other kaiju, like, he pulls out this I'm not exactly sure how his ability works. Like, he that like, what, like, finger gun or whatever the hell he has. Whatever's powering it, he can just, like, multiply, I guess, the power source. So it's just, I guess, more effective or something.
Yeah,
um
but Kafka, he just brushes off any attacks that he takes, and he just easily just brushes off whatever shield that he puts up, and then just completely overwhelms Kaiju number 9 to the point where he's about to kill him. But then all of a
yeah.
sudden, other members of the defense force, um, catch him during the fight and prevent Kafka from really finishing that kaiju off before he escapes. And then,
Yeah,
of
I
course,
mean, of course I didn't think that this guy would die so early on in the series. As of course he escapes.
yeah. So eventually, Kafka has to run away from those soldiers. But then all of a sudden, he's cornered by Soshiro, who of course attacks him, out of nowhere, and he pretty much without even like understanding or realizing that it's Kafka, he's dead set in wanting to kill him.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I feel like Kafka is more so just gonna try to get away from him as opposed to just trying to fight him. He's probably just gonna try to run, however he can, I guess. But I don't know. That's what I think will probably happen. Uh, once in the next episode, is him just trying to get away or trying to escape. Um,
Yeah.
but
I,
it's funny how, like, it's already, like, Kafka just relies so much on this ability, or his kaiju abilities, that he's of course again sort of revealed himself. Well, of course, the nobody else really knows yet that it's him, but I can see this, like, him quickly kind of uh, revealing himself to other people, where they might somehow find out that it's Kafka because of how much he relies on his kaiju powers.
I don't think this will be the point in which people will know it's Kafka. Maybe it's possible that it could be by the probably by this near the season finale of this show. But I haven't read the manga, so I don't know at one point people will actually
Yeah.
find out. But it's going to be only a matter of time before people will realize that this is Kafka.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I would like it so that Kafka, at least, maybe he gains some other ability so he doesn't have to rely so much on the kaiju powers. I mean, of course, they kind of set something up in the previous episodes where he can, he I guess he can compensate with coming up with a strategy for, or I mean, exposing some of the kaiju's weaknesses because of his experience with the kaiju disposal unit. So maybe they can go a little bit more into that. But I'm not sure if that's what the route they're going to go.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I thought it was a decent episode. I I was I guess a little bit disappointed as to how easily it seemed that Kafka dealt with the humanoid kaiju, to the point where he almost killed it. Especially considering how much of a threat it seemed like this guy was posing. Kafka just sort of essentially just pretty much sort of wiped the floor with him. So it was kind of surprising too, considering Kafka is not really that experienced yet with using his kaiju powers either. Um,
Yeah.
so
But
yeah.
but I don't think that this kaiju wants to have another go against Kafka one on one. Again,
Mm.
after the this severe beating that he's gotten from him. So I think it's more he's this
And
kaiju
it
is
seemed like
gonna
this guy also kind of knew of Kafka too before this. Like,
yeah
he had some knowledge of him, but he still, I guess, was taken by surprise to some extent when he
yeah
fought
But
finally.
I feel like that, Kaiju number 9 is likely gonna, like, stay in the shadows and try to I guess, try to do things his own ways behind the scenes. I mean, he
Yeah.
can transform into, like I guess you can say he can transform to practically anybody, so I don't think that, like, this person that he's transforming into that's working with the disposal unit might be his only form. It's possible he might take the form of another person. Maybe someone within the defense force might, uh, he might infiltrate their ranks and then like
Mhm.
ends up killing them behind the scenes.
Yeah, I can see something like that potentially happening. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about the episode, though. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
I thought it was a decent episode. About how action heavy this was. I did like that. We got to see Kafka fight in his kaiju form again after literally almost half a season being absent from being in that form.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll have to see where this goes with Kafka trying to deal with the situation with Soshiro right now, and how he's going to end up escaping him, and or whether or not it'll be the point in this series when which people will find out that that this is Kafka himself.
Yeah, I actually wonder if he's going to. I forget her name too. The twin tail girl. Uh,
Shinomiya.
Shinomiya. Yeah, I almost wonder if he's not going to end up getting some kind of assistance from her, where she maybe tries to distract him so that Kafka can get away or something, or she might help him escape. Because we already know that she knows that he had been, he had been spotted, and they know she knows that he's already activated his kaiju powers.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so I can, especially since he's already saved her too. I can see her maybe like trying to help him, like to pay him back or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's I think it's possible that Shinomiya might be like the one only person that might be able to to willingly help out Kafka in this situation because Reno is pretty much out of commission due to
yeah.
this due to the severe near death experience that he had to experience against this kaiju.
Mhm. Yeah, guys. But that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.